Hello YouTube, Mr. Bother here with another video. I know you might be sick and tired of me showing off context from this video game, Frostpunk 2, but this game, I really love it. I spend hours playing this game, and this is a very well made game. I feel like the developers, they did their homework, they studied human psychology. I feel like they literally brainstorm and plan this video game out because it's a very well made game, and this is why I feature this video game in democracy black pilled me. Like there's something about democracy that I feel like it's not quite right, and this game Frostpunk 2 kind of reassured why democracy fails in the end, because you have a bunch of different groups fighting over power, and democracy is like a essentially a showdown of which group is stronger. And that's why in real life you see political party struggling to maintain their power. And yeah, I'm not gonna delve too much into democracy because this is not this video is not about that. This video is about a totally different subject, and it relates to the picture that I'm showing, laborer. Me personally, I kind of consider myself a hardworking man, or should I say a worker. Even though I fantasize of being famous, even though I fantasize being a hero, fantasize being a billionaire, I feel like I will never escape the reality that I'm always going to be a worker. And to me, that's perfectly fine as long as I'm respected. In the video game Frostpunk 2, the worker class, all they really ask for is respect. They don't want to be seen as a slave, because obviously slavery is bad, and slave has a history of being disrespected, being exploited, being, you name it, like human rights being violated, etc., etc. And me personally, I'm fine being a laborer as long as I'm receiving respect. And I don't mind being the average Joe. The problem is, and it's becoming more and more clear as society is crumbling, as the power of the internet is showing society what it really is. It's becoming more and more clear that the average Joe is being disrespected, the average Joe is being seen as a slave, a wage slave. And as a result, no wonder society is getting worse to the point where people are losing their minds. If you guys recall, a while back there was a movie called The Joker by I think his name is Joaquin Phoenix, and that movie, it gained a lot of, I won't say controversy, but definitely a lot of scary media attention, because people thought there's going to be massive shooting. People thought there's going to be like a bunch of disenfranchised men going out and killing people. But what's funny and the most ironic thing is when that movie finally came out, nothing happened. More than anything, that movie was being praised, and it was being praised for a good reason, because it struck the nerve against the majority of men that are going through. And what's kind of sad, and this is why people are losing trust in media. What's kind of sad is that the media, they were trying to demonize this. They were trying to demonize that men shouldn't have feelings. They should shut up and, you know, go back to work being a wage slave. But here's the thing, guys. When society starts doing that, guess what? The average Joe, they'll start losing their minds, and they'll start to realize, hey, we're working for a system that doesn't care for us. So why bother caring for the system itself? So this is why we're seeing a lot of issues today. We're seeing quote unquote Gen Z not wanting to work. We're seeing people taking advantage of the welfare system. We're seeing dating going down the drain. We're seeing young people getting stressed over debt, and more importantly, young people that cannot maintain a relationship. This is why I talked about women in my YouTube channel, because I'm noticing a lot of women, they kind of refuse to believe that they're average, and Look, there's nothing wrong being average. The thing is that we cannot escape it. We could, we do have a chance to escape it. The problem is, for us to escape it is so low, so down low, that you have to be like the exception. And if you guys think about it, the top 5%, 1%, they're essentially the exception. And this is kind of funny if you guys think about it. They literally are the exception. So you could like escape the system. You could escape the wage slave society, but it's gonna be super hard for you. It's gonna be super like it's gonna be near impossible. Because all right, for me, let me use myself for an example. Um, it's gonna be super hard for me to escape this because to become the top 10% in this country, United States, there's 300 million people, and let's assume around, I don't know, like 25, 30%, or even 40%. Let's assume 30% of that US population are working age men that are healthy and perfectly capable of getting a job and working long term hours, especially rough hours. That would be like around, let's see, 350 million, maybe around 100, or should I say 990 million people. So, as you can imagine, me, a singular guy, competing against 90 million people. Now, I know my math is wrong. I'm literally taking a guess. But the problem is, to be the top 1%, I have to do better than the majority of those type of men. Now, look at China. China is even worse. A population of 1 billion people. For a guy in China to be the top 1%, he literally has to go through hell and stick and stones. And keep in mind, China is literally a country that's a lot of factories. So a guy to compete against his fellow workers, oh, he's gonna have to go through hoops. He has to go through fire and hell just to get where he's at. And nepotism is a thing in China, so he also has to socialize and hopefully get the right connection. Here in America, it's the same thing, but China's way, way worse. Way worse. So, as you can imagine, it's literally a mission impossible for a guy like me to become the top 1%. And why I'm making this videos is because this picture that you see right here, the laborer, I sort of accepted my fate that I'm not gonna reach the top. If I do reach the top, I'll do my best to help out the other men, help out men and women, hardworking men and women that are trying their best to live a happy life. Because I realized that money is power, but money is also like a tool. It's kind of like, best way I can put it, if money is power, then power could be used for anything as long as you put your mindset into it and as long as you don't get corrupted by it. A lot of people like to say power corrupts, absolutely, but in my opinion, power doesn't corrupt and it enables. So, if power could enable me to do a lot of things, then maybe I could use it for the sake of good. It's never it's never about power or money itself that's evil. It's the love of money that's evil. So I think a lot of people misinterpret that meaning. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that me personally, I'm accepting my fate, but if I ever get to the top 1%, which is going to be impossible, but let's just say I do, I'll definitely help out my fellow men and women that are in needs because society is very unforgiving, it's very cruel. And as I keep stating over and over again throughout my YouTube channel, things are going to get worse before it gets better. What's even sadder is is the fact that we have a group of people in Western countries that are destroying the system that's supposedly designed to help the working class. And a lot of working class people that are very well educated, that see what the direction this country is going in the long run, they realize that we're losing, very good assets. Like, it's not the 1950s anymore. Which, by the way, the reason why right wingers or conservative people are talking about 1950s as the golden age, golden era, is because in that time, think about it, guys. In that time, you could get away with not going to college. You could get away with just working like a regular job and work for, like, I don't know, like 20, 30 years, get your pension, get your retirement pension, and you get to retire and you have like a stable family income, which, by the way, in that time you were able to raise a family under a single income and still get vacation and enjoy a nice house with a white picket fence. So think about it, guys. In that time, you could get away with a lot of stuff with just one job, working hard, and have a good retirement. Nowadays, that's literally impossible. Nowadays, you have to like work 2 or 3 jobs just to survive, not to prosper, just to survive. And according to some news media outlet, in order to get that lifestyle from the 1950s, for a man to essentially raise a family on his own income, he has to get a job that pays him 500k minimum, 500k, in order to get that lifestyle what the average person had in the 1950s. To me, that's absurd. That is absurd, and nobody's raising the alarm. And the reason why I say nobody's raising the alarm is because, aside from that, homelessness is on the rise. Homelessness is increasingly getting worse and worse to the point where I think we are breaking record numbers and nobody's sounding the alarm. And the chances of you being homeless nowadays is very high. So high, in fact, that I was watching a YouTube video. It's under a news media, and they were discussing how nowadays it's common for young adults in their 20s and sometimes in their 30s to still live with their parents. And in my opinion, that's not surprising because throughout my YouTube channel, I've been stating that things are getting worse. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. And I feel like a lot of people, especially the rich ones, for some reasons, I was the wealthy rich, are being outright delusional about this. But what makes me upset is people, they don't want to focus on real issue. They want to focus on issues that are very, how do I say this? They rather focus on issue that impacts small things rather than issue that impacts everyone, if that makes any sense. Because you guys are gonna notice this, especially when you get into politics. You're gonna notice how people get butthurt and they screaming their, lungs off over issue that's very not that big of a deal. But when it comes to real issues like economic issues, they they stay silent and they chirp crickets. Like, there's no nobody is like discussing real issues that's affecting everyone. That's something that, to me, that's baffling. So sorry, guys, if I'm doing another rant, but I hope you understand where I'm getting at. It's very frustrating to see chances after chances, to see society getting better, but instead it's getting worse. And me as a worker, all I care about is getting a little respect, but more importantly, working, having an honest job to make a good living. I might remake this video because this is something that I feel like a lot of people could relate to. So I'll definitely remake this video, especially with better video editing. But yeah, guys, in a sense, we're all just workers. We're not special people. I wish I could be special. Like, I wish I could be the top 1%, being the exception. But yeah, we all fight our own battles. I mean, well, yeah. Now I'm losing my train of thoughts. I'm gonna end the video here, guys. Message in the bottle, over and out.